serious talking about anime. Guess it's important to hear what they say. Argue over weapons throughout night and day. Now that you listen to the Rant Cafe.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Animac here from Anime Uproar, and welcome to a brand new episode of The One Piece. Just kidding, the Rant Cafe anime podcast. I totally didn't confuse the two podcasts we do every week. Joining me today for this important topic, we have Lost Pause.
What's cracking, buddy? It's me, Nux. No, yeah. How you guys doing?
Yeah, the alter ego of Nuxtaku, Lost Pause. Or is Nuxtaku the alter ego of Lost Pause? We don't know. But Noble, thank you. Love having you here. And we also have, of course, Mr. Brig Brain. Briggs.
What up, boys? Always good to be here. I'm Briggs and Briggs!
Briggs and Briggs. Yeah, Nux was supposed to be here, guys, but he came down. He's under the weather, so we have to give him some time to recover. Basically, his voice now sounds like a normal person's voice because of his situation, because he...
And I'm like, just come on, man. It's just a normal
we're
voice.
like, yeah, just come on. And he's like, no,
I can never let them see my normal voice.
I will ruin my reputation if I sound like a normal person. So we were like, okay, Nux, you can recuperate your voice. We love you, and we'll see you next time. But today what we'll be discussing is whether the year 2020 in all of its morbid glory is ruining anime and how it is affecting the anime industry and what's going on with that. And then after, we will be doing a read-through of 2 chapters of the Rant Cafe ISEKAI novel. That is going to be a lot of fun. A major battle took place over the course of those 2 chapters, so it's going to be crazy. And yeah, let's start us off. The reason actually I wanted to do this topic, I was hoping Nux would be here. Unfortunately, he can't be, but Nux has been saying how this year, other than a few exceptions like interspecies reviewers, anime has just been terrible.
I think the only thing that could save 2020 is interspecies reviewers season 2.
Yeah, so that's unlikely since they canceled that everywhere, including in Japan. But
yeah, it's very unlikely unless the Blu-rays sell like wildfire, which is really what dictates whether something gets a season 2 or not, which may actually get, considering it has a lot of hentai shit in it. So people would definitely be attracted to buying those kinds of Blu-rays. So
honestly,
there is
I would.
A possibility.
I would buy that Blu-ray, and I don't even use Blu-rays anymore, but I would buy it. The problem, because you want the uncensored goodness, but the problem is that even how could they renew it if no network wants to pick it up in Japan or in the West? I don't know. Maybe as an
No. It only got canceled on one network. It was still airing, I think, on 3 separate networks still. So it was absolutely fine. There still is hope. It only got canned on one network.
Okay, got you. So I didn't know that. I assumed that it was canned in general, so that's good to know. See, we're learning important new things.
And like Funimation still paid for the rights. They just chose to take it off their platform. Like, they didn't get their money back, I'm pretty sure.
No, I know, but
yeah, they're still taking down other people too that air it.
What I'm saying is, I don't think that they would then pay for the rights for season 2 if they're
absolutely not.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. No.
But then again, like we're saying, 2020 anime has been, like, a lot of it's been bad, and a lot of the good stuff's got postponed. So it's like there's not a lot of other competition. Legit interspecies reviewers, which was a meme for how good it was, and like it is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's a meme like that it was the best of the season, 10 out of 10, and it legit is probably the best anime this year, which is so sad.
Yeah, that we have fallen. We have fallen SKZ in the chat, completely missing the point, talking about we had Kaguya season 2 that was good, and ReZero season 2, and Oregaru and Railgun season 3, and it's like, yes, these are sequels that were already in production prior to 2020, but we're talking about new anime for 2020, and also the effects of the delays, because a lot of anime, both new ones and sequels that were supposed to come out, and movies like the Demon Slayer movie, have been delayed indefinitely in some cases. For example, Attack on Titan season 4, is it 4? Yes, I think so.
Season 4 part 2?
I think it's season 4. It was supposed to come out in the fall, but now we don't know. There's like an indefinite question mark attached to it, and that has been going on with a lot of things. And ReZero was also delayed by a season, so it's like, what is going to happen now? Is production going to be affected for next year? Are we going to get any good new anime in the long term? Is this going to really have an impact that just decimates the industry, at least parts of the industry. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, it seems like things are starting to normalize a bit as like cases go down. Like ReZero's airing now, even though it got delayed. Food Wars is airing now, even though it got delayed. And like, yeah, the first 2 seasons of this year are like weren't all that great, but it happens from time to time as well. Like there's always droughts in the quality of anime, and I feel like it's just gonna come back. There's always an up and down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, Railgun Series T got delayed, but it still pushed through. Like, it got on hiatus, I think, twice or some crap like that. But it's finishing it up gradually, and it's actually a pretty good series right now. But I've definitely been the lack of, like, new anime. Like, the anime seasons suck right now. I'm not gonna lie. Well, like, really nothing to get hyped about.
I don't think it's because like yes, a lot of good shows got delayed and got pushed back, but I don't think this season sucks because of COVID and because of like what's happening in 2020. I think it's just bad anime right now. It happens all the time.
You think that? Because I think part of it is definitely the delays.
Yeah, the delays.
Well, yeah, but there's still like 50 anime that came out, and why are they bad? Like, can you only make bad shows during this crisis?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like the production quality's gone down too on a lot of them because even though they may not be canceled, like they don't have China like to actually make all extra pieces because if you didn't know, Japan likes outsourcing a lot of work to China, so that's so
and
it's
Korea,
definitely
right?
affecting their work source, and Korea too.
So
they outsource a lot of work.
It all depends. I think the first half of the stuff this year, like we've had a lot of delays, but the first half was most of it already produced previously prior to the pandemic, right? So now the question is, how will the second half of the year be affected by the fact that some stuff that needed to be produced didn't get produced when it was supposed to? The thing is, it all depends on the situation in Japan and around the world. But in Japan, so far, they've been pretty okay in terms of the pandemic. They've been good at curbing it. But the question is, if, God forbid, it becomes worse or something along those lines, and they can't produce things as they wanted to, the schedules get screwed up because they have to only work from home. Yeah, like there is a big danger that the entire anime industry could be,
Well, it's already been like 3 or 4 months. So I would hope, like, I'm always very optimistic. I would hope by now they figured out a good way of like safely still continuing to work on these things, working from home. It's forcing a lot of companies to innovate and like figure their shit out. And honestly, a lot of companies could save money by not actually having office space and like a general like brick and mortar when most jobs could be done from home.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know how that is for animation industry because I assume they do have to do more collaborative work.
Yeah, I think it would go faster if they're in their office, share their work like right next to each other. But yeah, it could be done through email and other things like that.
Email,
for sure.
Zoom, having this whatever technology at home to work on stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate definitely in terms of if you can do stuff from a home office, doing it rather than doing this whole expensive office buildings and going downtown and all this type of stuff, because I know in Toronto, the big city close to us, Briggs, me and you, a lot of people commute like 2 hours from areas completely outside of the city just because they have to go to the office to work physically. And yet it's the type of office work that they could technically do from home with some software. So my personal prediction is that as a result of this pandemic, we're going to see a lot more companies realizing, hey, I'm renting all this expensive office space downtown. During the pandemic, we did fine just working from home. I think a lot of companies are going to start going more in that direction, which is hopefully going to reduce people's commute times and pollution and all these other things that could be reduced.
Yeah, even schooling as well. Like obviously it's really hard for like smaller kids, but once you get like older, I'd imagine a lot of stuff could be done from home.
Mm-hmm. It is difficult though for like creative work like animation, if it's people working together on a single panel or a single scene. Being together does really benefit you. Your ideas are bouncing off each other, all that type of stuff.
That's true.
It's not quite the same, but I mean, if you got to do it, you got to figure something out.
And on the plus side, like cases are on, like other than the U.S., cases are declining quite a bit, right?
Well, it depends where. Like, I mean, like there are certain countries like Brazil and India where they're going up a lot, but it depends where you are, really.
Briggs, you don't understand. You're no longer a student. Remote school sucks. Major eggs. Someone just said in chat. Bro, you know how many courses I took online? I didn't go to class. Like, I worked like I had school downtown, and like I would have like 4 days a week. I would go like one, maybe two. I was trying to avoid it like as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I've done online courses, but not complete degrees online or anything,
Yeah.
so I can't really speak to that.
I'm just a big fan because like I tend to learn by myself and teach myself anyway. I have the attention span of a fucking goldfish, so like I can't sit in class. Like I just go crazy, man.
And that's everybody. I remember when I was in class, like I would take notes, but then as I'm taking notes, I would have like other windows open doing other stuff.
Dude, I would work on scripts. I would legit work on scripts in class. I'm like, why did I even come here?
I know.
Oh my
And
god.
then you know what's the worst? You spend all this time taking all the notes, and then the professor's like, "Hey, you know, guys, I'm gonna put up everything here up on the online
Yeah, exactly.
server," and I'm like, "Why was I even taking these notes?"
Bro,
To be fair, sometimes like I was even distracted. I take the notes, but my brain is just like not absorbing it. So I just have all these note stuff, like what I would need, but I wouldn't absorb any of the lecture.
you were
'cause I was
legit too worried about
on
writing
making
stuff
the
down
notes.
than actually learning. I hate that so fucking much.
Yeah, exactly, because then they start moving like the slides quicker and all this stuff. So yeah.
Sorry, I
hear you.
completely took us on a tangent there. I was just saying that it feels like a lot of places are in a decline, especially like I'm in Canada and like or where I live. Cases are down quite a bit. So depending on how that's going in Japan, maybe in the next few months they could start going back to the office. I have no clue on how things are going there, but like as time goes on, naturally they're going to heal and things are going to get back to normal.
Yeah, hoping God willing, because definitely we.
Oh yeah, there's the fear of the another wave, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the big unknown, because this is such a new thing. It's not a established virus or anything that it's hard to predict what's going to happen. But yeah, so in terms of seasonal anime, I personally haven't for a while watched a lot of seasonal anime. Basically, what I do is I just follow certain anime that we cover on the main channel, Anime Uproar, very closely. And then when someone tells me there's a great anime and they tell me you have to watch this, that's when I watch it.
Yeah,
And I
Peter
feel like-
Grill obviously is the best new anime this season. 100%. Definitely you need to watch Peter Grill. I mean, just that anime, just the name alone of Peter Grill.
Dude,
Well,
I haven't
from your
watched it. What
tone,
does this
I'm
mean?
not very inspired.
I've heard so much stuff about it, but I don't even know what it is.
It's about a man who is the strongest man in all of the world. And what he does is basically he gets women that want to have his baby because he's so strong. Like these other series, like orcs or other kinds of girls, they want
Makes
the
sense. I
strongest
relate
baby
to that. I
seed.
relate to that. Okay, continue.
So they're like, okay, let's fuck me. Like, give me the seed of your baby. And he's like, no, I have a woman that I love. I cannot betray her. And then the girl makes him touch his boob, and he's like, okay. And then he sexes her. And then
Sounds like the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah. Where is this an anime or like a hentai?
it's an anime. It's actually an anime. So he cheats on his freaking girlfriend, and then in the middle, like the first episode leaves off on her knocking on the door with the girls naked in his bed, and he's just like, oh shit.
Okay.
Literally,
Sorry. Go ahead.
it's dumb. It's the stupidest anime. It's really bad and low quality, like masturbation bait or something
Well,
like
to
that.
me, that's the plot of a hentai, right? So, the guy, it's not his fault. All these women are throwing themselves at him, and then eventually his girlfriend's like, "It's okay, I can share you."
I
Like that's
a
hentai right there.
yeah, it's definitely got the hentai plot. It definitely is, but it's not quite there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like he has the hentai plot, but then it teases you.
Yeah, I mean that's the best one this season that I could obviously think of that everybody needs to see.
Yes,
and I think we do.
That was.
And I think we also should make Peter Grill into Peter Griffin. Is that what it is? Lois, something like that. All right.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna bring up, because usually during a season, people are like, "Yo, you gotta watch this, bro. You gotta watch that, bro." But this year, both the spring and summer seasons, so winter, spring, and summer, people haven't really been saying, other than the sequels for like ReZero and things like that we already all have been waiting for a long time, so we're excited for, which is understandable. There's a fan base that exists. I haven't really been seeing a lot of people telling me, you have to watch this, bro, other than interspecies reviewers, of course. So that is the exception.
Well, I'm sure like another big 2020 thing that's happening is, of course, the manhwa being translated into anime, or I guess tunes in that sense. I'm not sure what the correct say what they are. Are they just webtoons? Are they manhwa? Well, whatever. But we are getting Tower of God and also God of High School.
Yes.
And how's that impacting the anime? I mean, is that another topic? Or is that part of the 2020 ruining anime thing?
Okay, yeah, I think that's a very solid topic. Now, I actually quite like Tower of God, the anime, the Crunchyroll adaptation of the webtoon, and I like the so far God of High School. Although we only have 4 episodes, and episode 4 was a weird tonal shift from the rest of the episodes. But I so far I like it. The fights are cool. The animation I think is higher quality than Tower of God, so I'm hoping it's gonna be good. And I would consider it anime for this reason. Usually the difference between anime and manga, because all anime is really created in multiple countries. As you said, they outsource to Korea and China, but anime is in Japanese and has a lot of Japanese involvement. I would say that both Tower of God and God of High School, since they are in Japanese and have a lot of Japanese involvement, count as anime.
Okay. I mean, that's definitely something I don't I mean, I sometimes count like Ruby as an anime. I don't really care. Like, honestly, you can have whatever debate you want. I consider part of the anime community because we are discussing.
Never. Fuck that, Noble. Absolutely unacceptable.
Okay.
I'm on Noble's side. I don't give a fuck if it's something I want. Like,
yeah.
I like getting into the nitty gritty definitions.
You guys have been outvoted.
It's 2-1, my dude.
It's 2-1. it's literally.
But also, I would say that Tower of God and God of High School, I would consider it more of an anime, like technically, than something like Ruby, obviously. Because at least like Crunchyroll, like it releases, like it buys the rights and releases anime on their website. It hired, if I recall, like I can't remember who they hired to do it, but I'm pretty sure it was a Japanese studio. No.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do think
and
that
it's based off something from like Korea.
Yeah, even though it's kind of weird that everyone in Seoul, South Korea, speaks Japanese, as in God of High School, I do respect the fact that Crunchyroll is working with Japanese people and studios to do this, because Crunchyroll made all their money based on Japanese art. So, they should be giving back to the Japanese anime industry by incorporating the Japanese anime industry in their originals.
Isn't it weird how like Crunchyroll does like anime, but like the things that out is typically not anime of what they're making. Like they do like live action like stuff that's not anime. I
haven't watched any of that.
Exactly. Nobody really cares about it. And they're also doing, I think, like a Steven Universe kind of show. I forgot what it's called, honestly.
Oh, High Guardian Spice.
Yeah, High Guardian Spice, which is not technically anime either. Oh, and I guess now they're doing webtoons, which is like the closest thing we're getting to anime. And apparently I'm a robot right now, so I'm sorry.
You got better. There was a little bit of robotic talk at the beginning, but it's fine.
Yeah, like something like High Guardian Spice, I have zero interest in. I don't know why they would do that. The problem was that that's what they announced as their first original, and people were like, what is this? Now that we actually have God of High School and Tower of God and stuff, if they want to do that as a side thing, fine. I don't know who's going to watch it. I no idea. It looks absolutely terrible to me. But, to each their own. And the thing is, I feel like you can definitely consider something like webtoons or even manhwa being adapted as anime, as long as obviously there's Japanese involvement. Because if you think about like, you would never say that Howl's Moving Castle isn't an anime movie, but it's actually based on a Western novel. So I think the source doesn't necessarily matter as long as the industry involved includes the anime industry.
Yeah, it was made by Studio Mappa, has Japanese voice actors, right? And it's I guess funded by a company that like literally provides anime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is that one Sugoi Dekai thing that I'm seeing all over Twitter with people.
Uzaki-chan, everyone's
simping
really
for
hardcore
this
Uzaki
girl, but I don't. Why?
Yeah, I haven't given it a chance.
It's all right. I read the manga of it, and it's like a good manga. That's where I can place it. Yeah. It's not like overly great, but like I think people are loving it because it's finally a about a college girl, completely legal finally, and everyone can simp her, and she just has a tits, and it's a.
But she looks like she's 7.5. Noble.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that later because that's part of the 2020 ruining anime thing there. But I'll at least give a description of what Uzaki-chan is. It's about a girl who sees this guy, and he sees him like as a pathetic loner loser. Even though he's content himself, she feels bad for him, so she just annoys him, kind of like where the Uzaki or the Uza, which is annoying, comes from. Which is why she's like annoying Chan or something like that, a play off of that. And she just kind of annoys him because she likes him and she wants to spend time with him and make him feel better. That's literally the plot of it. Yeah.
Well, that sounds terrible. But I guess I can't judge it off of that because like rental girlfriend sounds like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it sounds like prostitution, right?
And low key, those first 2 episodes were pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought it would be complete trash, and it was, but it was really good trash, or it was solid trash. You know what I feel like this little bit of a drought taught me? This little bit of a drought taught me to enjoy things just for the fun of it, you know? Like God of High School, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Tower to God sucks eggs.
Tower of God doesn't suck, man. Shut up.
I think it's mediocre. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I just think it's mediocre.
Yeah,
I would say it's good, but not like amazing.
Yeah. It's just like, this is what it is. But anyway, going back to Uzaki-chan, I mean, 2020 is having, it has a lot of things going on about it, and a lot of them is criticizing the anime community, and a lot of them have been directly on Twitter about Uzaki-chan, and they're saying like, yo, she's too young looking, she just has enormous tits and stuff like that. And they don't like the fact that she also has enormous tits on top of it.
Oh my god. Bro, yeah. Really don't show them Honey and Clover.
Yeah, so like, I honestly, a lot of people are trying to dip their toes into the anime industry, and it pisses me off. Oh my god, Faku is here.
Is that the real Faku? Thank you for the subs.
I'm pretty sure it is. That is the real Faku.
Damn.
Hey, thank you, Faku. I mean, we don't know who you are or anything, Baka.
Oh my god, Faku is it's run by Jacob, and also it's a hentai website, bro.
I know what Faku is.
You think people that talk about anime for a living don't know what Faku is?
I thought you didn't know, dude. It's
I mean, by the way that Animax said it, I could see where you're coming from. He's trying to say fuck you.
Oh, okay.
We are aware of Faku. Faku.
Next time we'll join and talk about hentai. My man, men of culture.
True. I mean, you got to talk about culture in these hard times. Culture. Hard times.
It's true. The one thing that hasn't changed over 2020 is the fact that hentai is still here. Still the.
And you know what's good? You know what's great? What's it called? Or not great, but have you guys noticed how much ecchi there is this season?
I haven't because I haven't been watching stuff.
My theory is because of COVID, they have less resources and less time, or they're struggling to get stuff out. And what's the easiest content to make? Ecchi.
Bro, someone shared this with me on Twitter. I think it was Steelers on our Patreon Twitter on Anime Pro. But how sad is it that if you think about it, many ecchi anime have way better quality animation than Seven Deadly Sins Season 3.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, especially about a hentai game that came out, I think, 2 seasons ago, and it lasted for 2 seasons or something like that. What was that one called? Princess Connect or something like that. Yeah, and that had amazing Konosuba animation, and it was garbage.
Bro, I would kill for Keijo animation for Seven Deadly Sins Season 3. I would kill for it.
Yeah. Also, hi, Mousy. How you doing?
Hey, Mousy, in the chat. We're going to get Mousy in here soon for the read-through. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Man, we've been all over the place today with this topic, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the point. 2020 is all over the place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's nothing that centralizes it. The anime community is kind of just like whatever right now because there's no anime worth really talking about.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and just to prove that even further, look at like how popular Tower of God and God of High School are. Like they're just all right shows, whatever. Like I'm enjoying Tower of God for the fun of it. I think it has good choreography and animation. I'm enjoying the fight scenes. And there's some fun. God of High School, my bad.
God of High School.
Um,
You're mixing up.
yeah. And there's like this is good, heartwarming, funny moments. I'm enjoying it so far, but it's nothing special. And I feel like these two series are like some of the most popular series this season. And I feel like if it wasn't for the fact that they were Crunchyroll Originals and the fact that there's like really not that much like quality anime right now, like I think they would have been like if a random studio made it and it didn't have Crunchyroll's name on it, I think it would have just like kind of went by without people really talking about it.
Like if those anime came out the same time where like One Punch Man came out, no one would care.
Yeah.
No one would care.
I don't know. I think for Tower of God, probably overall, yeah, like the animation wasn't as good. So it might just based on that, it might have been ignored. But I think God of High School has some impressive animation, honestly, and a unique style. So depending on how it pans out, I think it could be one of those gems that would hold up. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, episode 4 kind of felt like some tonal whiplash to me. It was weird. It was like, I don't know if it's tonal whiplash or narrative whiplash, but it was something.
I've only seen the first 3. I watched episode 3 last night. I still have to watch episode 4.
Well, when you see episode 4, then you let me know if you agree with me in chat. Let me know what you guys think. By the way, if you don't know and you're listening to this after the fact, we record live on Twitch, twitch.tv/rantcafe. So when we refer to chat, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Are we going to segue into the read-through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Mouse has got a lot to say about some garbage mess and disappointment.
Oh, about episode 4. Yeah, so we could actually talk about it. Let's get Mousy in here and we can talk about it because, yeah, like I don't know if I hated it, but like parts of it were like just why? Like I don't want to spoil it for people, but it was completely unexpected. I thought like the whole setup for the anime for the episode, it starts at the beginning. And I thought it was going to be like a gig, like a gag that lasts for like 5 seconds, a comedy gag. And then it's like, no, the whole plot of the episode is based on that. And I was like, what?
Oh, no.
But you guys will see. I don't want to spoil it.
All right. No, that's fine. I'll get to it.
All right, Mouse, I'm sending you a link to this thing.
Yeah, hold on. I'll need to get into my Iron Mouse voice now. Give me a second.
Do it. Let's see.
Tell me how I do it. I do. Whenever she's here.
Oh, I thought you were gonna actually do one.
Beep beep, no, motherfuckers.
I cannot get my voice that high pitched.
Yeah, I cannot.
Do it. If I use my testicles like Michael Jackson, I think that would be enough. Like I do it.
Okay, let me try. Hey, you guys. It's me, Mousy.
Beautiful, man.
It's me,
beautiful.
I'm Mario.
Mario.
It's okay. It's okay, guys. Briggs has Italian background, so he's allowed to make those jokes.
It's true. It's alright. You can say whatever you want about Italians. No one would get outraged.
In the bathroom. Oh, that's like the best I can do. I don't really know what else I could do for poor Mousy. Oh my God, Ludicrous Fun.
The chat of chads.
Yeah.
The other day, Ludicrous Fun told me on Discord that he is a sweaty, hairy man, and I'm like, all right, listen, I don't need that information, but that's that's
I don't need that information, but now I have it, and it's mine.
We're talking about like people who are sweaty, hairy, and work on the railroad. So that's how the whole conversation started. Maltar. Does Mousy have the link?
I did send it to her on Discord, hopefully. Yeah, I did.
Wait, on Discord? Oh, okay. I was like, can I go to Discord to sound less like a robot? But no, you guys this one better.
Yeah, so Discord definitely seems to be worse.
Hello!
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
What's up, motherfuckers?
What's up?
All right, Mousy, what did you think of God of High School episode 4?
It was terrible!
Oh, no.
Listen, it was a disappointment. I didn't like it. It jumped around way too much. I just feel like...
Is it like a webtoon, though?
Yeah, it seemed like we had the first 3 episodes that were consistent, and then that was just like a weird detour.
Well, even with the first year, because I read the manhwa, okay, and they cut out they've mixed stuff around and cut shit out, and this one was just like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, see, I haven't read it, so I'm just completely a virgin on it. But I thought that the first few episodes were totally fine, interesting, consistent, and then the fourth episode was kind of like out of nowhere. So we'll see whether episode 5 now continues with the original, or if it's gonna go to a totally different tangent. I have no idea.
Episode 4 only counts in the last 5 minutes. That's the only part where it's like, oh, well, I needed to know this information.
Oh yeah. So when they do the fight, the
Yeah.
guy's friend, and then the fight.
Suffering right now.
It was so okay. I have a love-hate relationship with that show because the first episode was very fun and explosive, and you're like, holy shit, I've been reading this so long and I finally see it animated. This is great. And then the second episode, you're like, oh shit, maybe this isn't gonna be so great. And then the third episode's like, ah! And the fourth episode's like, cancel it, please. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. All right.
For me, going on it fresh, I thought the first 2 episodes were fine, but then the fourth episode, I was just kind of confused.
I thought the first episode was weak as fuck, but that's just me.
I feel like they just jump around and they cut out stuff that's important, and they move some stuff around, and I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes, but episode 4 was a mess.
Yes, agreed.
Have you guys seen the new Sponge anime? 10
out of 10.
One's actually pretty good.
10 out of 10.
That one's actually pretty good. I do recommend it.
I saw that Nux made a video on it, but I have no idea. I haven't heard of it yet.
Oh, you should watch it, Animac. It's amazing.
Wait,
what is it like?
It's on SpongeBob?
Like a YouTube skit or?
No,
The SpongeBob anime?
It's legit an animation made. Yeah. Someone posted it to YouTube. They spent 6 months on it. High budget or high quality.
It was so good. That is I can proudly say that is the only episode of SpongeBob I have ever watched.
Oh, really? I feel like if you had
it.
watched SpongeBob, you'd probably appreciate it a lot more as well because there was so many little references that were amazing.
All right, but I should probably watch it before they get copyright striked for not owning SpongeBob.
Dude, it's actually it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's funny. It's funny.
Imagine SpongeBob but turned into an anime.
Yeah, so
with the anime seriousness,
because
so what's dramatic. The intensity of it, but the silliness of SpongeBob at the same time.
I thought F was for friends.
Yeah, I remember there was a viral SpongeBob, if SpongeBob was anime intro that was really funny, but you guys are saying this is a whole full-fledged
Yeah. He did episode 1, and he probably will do episode.
You cut out, but episode 2, yes. I'm guessing.
Dang it! Why is it cutting out? Yeah, you probably will do episode 2. That's not my fucking Hangouts. Oh.
If you want, Noble, if you want to try going out and then back in, I don't know if that'll help.
I don't know. I never have them on Discord.
Dude, I don't understand. It's so sad. We left Discord because it always does this, and Hangouts was working fine, and now Hangouts is doing it too. Can we not just have good audio for once? Well, also, I didn't talk about One Piece today, and people were saying, Briggs, how did you not talk about One Piece? Well, I mean, One Piece also got canceled for a bit or delayed.
Yeah, Black Clover did. A bunch of anime did.
Oh,
even the ones that are always consistent.
So there's my One Piece talk for the day. The manga's still fire though, so it had a few weeks off here and there, but nothing.
Well,
nothing
two of
too
me
long.
in here.
Yeah,
you're multiplying.
Oh my lord! There's Noble, Nux, and Mousy. They're all the same person.
That's true.
It might be that your thing stayed when you left, but hopefully now it'll fix the audio. And we're also waiting for Lucy, our friend who has to voice Terra. She said 1 minute. But in the meantime, yeah, we're doing a One Piece Virgin podcast. Noble was just on, Mousy was on a few times, where we're reading One Piece, the manga, from the beginning. And I am doing it for the first time, and Nux and Briggs are obviously not. They're not virgins, but we're having a lot of fun. It's been really great. We're already up to chapter 549.
It's crazy how fast we're going through it.
Yeah, so we're like almost more. We're at the Marineford arc. We're almost over the halfway point. It's crazy.
Yeah, next week, Marineford.
So good. It's so
Yeah,
good.
man.
I'm almost
Marineford
scared to
is
get caught up now because it's like I don't want to be like waiting.
I passed you already. I'm at Punk Hazard now.
Punk Hazard.
Punk
I've never
Hazard?
heard it pronounced that way.
I've never heard of
I said it
Hazard.
like that. That's how I'm gonna say it.
That's
Noise.
something
Alright.
that Nux would say as a meme. It's like
Listen, man,
Punk
it's
Hazard.
hard for me to pronounce it the other way if my tongue feels weird.
Say Hazard.
hazard. Yeah, it's very
Hazard.
American. Hazard.
Hazard.
How would British people?
Hazard.
I have no idea.
Say
Cannot get out.
Hazard. Popcorn.
Do British people have the word
dog.
hazard?
Yeah.
We have to
It's an
ask
American
Rustage.
accent.
I was about to say, someone in chat says it sounds like how Sea Dog would say it. Thank you for the help.
True, but Sea Dog is Welsh, so I don't know if he has that pure British accent.
I see.
You know,
I wish I could do accents. I can't do accents for shit.
well, you can do it to Mario.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm trying to do English accents, but they all seem when I do it. You know, it's
What?
the, yeah. A refined or something like that.
Yeah.
Am I really a robot? Okay, I don't know, dude.
Should we go to?
Someone in the chat said, "Well, Wales isn't Britain." Yes, but what I mean is like when we say British accent, what we mean is like that London type accent because there's many different accents in Britain.
Let me go to Discord.
Lucy, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you
Excellent.
hear me? Can you
Yes,
see
we
me?
can. Okay, so we're all here now and ready to start the read through. Nux isn't here. I miss him because I like when he does the narration. So I will do the narrations at this
No,
point.
wait, I don't have a thingy.
Oh yeah, so you can open it up on Web Novel. Link is in the chat, or you can just Google Web Novel Rant Cafe. This is chapter 10, Agents of Chaos. Previously on Dragon Ball, previously on the Rant Cafe Isekai, we had those crazy villains come to the Dragon Train, Terra, Shift, and Davy. They took Lou D. Chris Fun's hostage, and when Blair tried to stand up to them, she was zapped and blown off the railing. So is she going to fall to her death? We don't know. Let's find out.
And prior to that, Burgo and Birito took a piss off the dragon.
Yeah, so that was an important.
That was so important for Birito's development and growth. Sometimes in life, you just gotta take a piss off the dragon and live. Face your fears. Become a man.
Yeah, and I mean, the draining of the snake is a pivotal moment in Birito's Chad formation.
Exactly.
All right, let me know when everyone's ready.
I have no idea what I'm even looking at.
Oh, someone link our boy Noble. Noble's gonna be our Birito, by the way, because Noble and Nux, some believe, are the same person. So hopefully, you guys are going to get that continuity. Thank you, Langard, for the 3,000 magical crystals.
Alright, I sent you a
He
link
says-
on Discord.
R.I.P. Ludacris. We'll have to wait and see.
It's chapter 10, right?
Yes, chapter 10 on Web Novel.
Cool.
Okay, I have it. Mm-hmm.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay, starting now. Thankfully, Blair was able to grab the very bottom rail with her cattail, but she was now hanging from the dragon train by the tail alone. Chad Lass dove over the railing and dropped down to Blair's level as Brigo held her in place by the ankles. Just as Blair was losing her grip on the railing, Chad Lass reached out and grabbed her tail. It was a crazy sight. a cat girl hanging by only her tail over a vast chasm, and the only thing stopping her from falling over was the outstretched hand of a kink. The kink in turn was hanging upside down, her legs gripped tightly in her user's arms. It was a daring move by Brigo and Chadlass, a move executed with amazing reaction time, and it saved Blair's life, but it wasn't over yet. As Brigo and Chadlass struggled to keep Blair from falling to her death, Shift's kink had already appeared. It was a woman with a flowing dress and two pairs of insect-like wings growing out of her back. The wings and the dress had matching brown and gold swirls, and a pair of long antennae were poking out from beneath her long dark hair. As the kink took to the air, I noticed that her eyes were very strange. The whites of her eyes were actually black, and her irises were bright yellow. "Ganojo," Shift said. "Destroy the guy in the armor and his kink." The kink flapped its massive wings. It circled once and then dove to attack. She aimed one of her high-heeled boots right at Brigo and flew at him with a devastating kick. Brigo used one arm to repel the attack, and he was able to block Ganojo's powerful blow, but at great cost. Chadlass and Blair were now hanging by a thread, held up by just one of Brigo's arms. Worse yet, the armor on his other arm was already dented and cracked after just one kick from Ganojo, and it was clear that Brigo couldn't take another. One more attack like that would be fatal for all three of them. Sophia suddenly stepped forward. She took something from the inside of her jacket and threw it at Shift. It was a small throwing knife, and it struck Shift just below the shoulder. Shift cried out in pain, and his kink rushed over to him. She placed her body between Shift and Sophia, determined to protect him from more attacks.
I'll handle this,
Tara said and aimed her glowing seashell at Sophia. As soon as I saw this, I leapt into action. As another powerful wind gust rushed out from the shell, I grabbed Sophia and pulled her behind Truck-chan.
Whoa, it's like a storm!
Truck-chan said as the wind slammed into her. The truck shook and rattled slightly as we took cover behind her, but Truck-chan was much heavier than a human, and she was attached to the platform with the harness, so Tara's wind attack was useless. This momentary distraction by Sophia was just what Brigo and Chadlass needed to save Blair. They pulled her up and threw her back on the platform, and then they both turned to face Shift. As expected, Blair landed on her feet, and she immediately took cover behind one of the carriages. Noble, why don't you do Shift?
Oh. What is Shift? What is he like? What is? Give me like a character so I can do a voice.
He's an edgelord. He's an edgelord.
Damn you!
Shift barked, clutching the wound on his arm.
You'll pay for this! Ganojo! Get them!
Perfect. The king took to the air and began circling above Chadlass and Brigo. Chadlass assumed a fighting stance. Her golden aura surged around her as she followed Ganojo's movements and prepared for the next attack.
Thank God Blair is safe,
Sophia said. The two of us were still hiding behind Truck-chan as we watched Ganojo's ominous flight maneuvers.
Oh, yes, I'm so glad she's safe too. So glad.
Truck-chan muttered. This is you two, but a normal voice, Noble.
Wait, a normal voice. Okay. I've seen this pattern somewhere.
I said to Sophia.
The pattern on Kink's wings and it looks so familiar.
she looks like an insect.
Birito?
It's okay. I'll do Birito because I'm doing the narration, so it's confusing because I'm supposed to say I said. I'll just do that and you can do Shift. Okay. Yes, that's it, I said. She's a moth. A moth girl. Sophia nodded.
I think you're right.
Ew!
Truck-chan squealed.
That guy's kink is an insect? What a sick pervert!
Of course. Ganojo, I said. And I actually chuckled. Haha, I get it. She's a moth and a girl, and in Japanese, I stopped mid-sentence as Ganojo dove at Chadlass and the two kinks began to exchange blows. The entire platform seemed to shake as Chadlass used her brass knuckles to block Ganojo's sharp, piercing kicks. The two auras clashed, creating visual explosions of gold and brown, and then the speed of each kink's movements increased. We heard a sharp pop every time the kinks made contact, and as these pops became louder, passengers on the platform began to panic.
Quiet!
Tara exclaimed.
You'll pay for getting in our way, all of you!
She charged up her baton again and began firing indiscriminately. Passengers screamed and dove for cover behind train cars and parked carriages. I looked out from behind Truck-chan. As Chadlass and Ganojo continued to fight, it was clear that Chadlass was at a disadvantage. Not only did the sudden attack prevent her from getting pumped up, but the battlefield itself was clearly working against her. Ganojo was able to take to the air at will, and she could literally fly circles around Chadlass. Meanwhile, Brigo's king was stuck on a narrow platform loaded with train cars, parked carriages, and nervous passengers. This meant that Chadlass had little room to maneuver, and on top of that, she had to worry about collateral damage. For her part, Ganojo had no concerns about harming the passengers or the train itself, and she was going all out in her aerial attacks. But Brigo was on the move. As the two kings fought, he sneaked his way around one of the carriages, and I knew right away that he was trying to reach Shift. However, Brigo didn't have his sword. It was still strapped to the roof of Truck-chan, and his movements were slower than usual because he didn't have time to remove his armor. In that very moment, Blair leapt out from her hiding place and made her way over to us.
Blair, are you alright?
Sophia asked. Yes, I'm fine, but we have to do something about her. Blair gestured towards Tara, and she is a great voice actress, who was still shooting off her blue lightning in all directions. A couple of times the lightning had struck Truck-chan, but since she was a truck and had a strong metal frame, the impact only annoyed her.
Right.
Sophia said.
I've got my throwing knives on me, but my bow and arrows are still on the roof.
Blair nodded. You can use the knives, but I need my spear, and we need to hurry. That bitch is on the move. Blair was right. Tara was now moving towards the back of the dragon train. The other criminal, Davy, was walking right behind her, and he was forcing the hostage to follow. They're trying to get to the lifeboats, I said. Blair used her cat-like agility to quickly climb on top of Truck-chan. I couldn't see what she was doing, but I could hear her opening one of the travel cases that were fastened to the roof. Meanwhile, Sophia retrieved more throwing knives from her jacket. As Tara and Davy approached our position, Sophia peeked out from behind Truck-chan and threw several knives in rapid succession. Most of the throws were near misses, but one of the knives did manage to rip through Tara's hair bun. As loose strands of her hair fell to the ground, Tara's face contorted with rage, and she fixed her eyes squarely on Sophia.
Die!
Tara screamed and fired her lightning baton right at Sophia, but Sophia dove out of the way. Tara began to swirl her baton. Oh, sorry. I skipped.
Bring it on, bitch!
Sophia exclaimed, and she launched yet more throwing knives at her opponent. Tara began to twirl her baton with incredible speed. It moved so quickly that it no longer looked like a baton at all. Rather, it looked like a powered-up airplane propeller that had been infused with lightning. Sophia's knives bounced off of this surging sphere of lightning and fell harmlessly to the ground. Brigo, catch! Blair called out from the top of Truck-chan. She picked up the sword and threw it down to Brigo. He held out both hands and caught it successfully, although the weight of the sword nearly made him lose his balance. The mere fact that Blair was able to pick up this giant weapon and throw it to Brigo was an incredible feat. She really was a warrior. No regular person could have done that. Sophia and Tara continued to exchange projectiles. Tara clearly had the superior weapon, but Sophia's agility was incredible, and she was able to dodge the lightning strikes while launching her throwing knives right back in Tara. Blair then jumped down from the roof. She held what looked like 3 sticks in her hand, and I quickly realized that these sticks were actually a single weapon. It had been folded into 3 parts to make it more portable, but once Blair unfolded them, the sticks turned into a single double-edged spear. Let's take her down, Blair said, and Sophia nodded.
Hey, wait!
Truck-chan said.
Don't just leave me tied up here. I want to help too.
What can you do in that form? I said. Just stay put.
I can run down the bad guys, Birito-kun.
I wasn't so sure about untying Truck-chan. I wasn't so sure that untying Truck-chan was a good idea, but Blair made this decision for me. Her nails suddenly grew into long feline claws, and she used them to cut Truck-chan's harness. Be careful, Blair said, both of you. She readied her spear, and then she left the cover of Truck-chan's metal frame and ran out to face Tara. By this point, Tara had managed to corner Sophia. Sophia was stuck between one of the lifeboats and the railing, and Terra's constant lightning projectiles made it impossible for her to move. Blair was determined to change the situation, and she rushed at Terra with her double-edged spear. Terra turned and fired at Blair, but Blair managed to deflect the lightning by spinning her spear at amazing speed. The lightning bounced off the spear, hit the ground, and dispersed harmlessly. Sophia used this moment of distraction to reposition herself, and now Terra was the one who was cornered. The two cat women were clearly accustomed to working together, and it looked like they had gained the advantage. But Terra wasn't concerned. In fact, she chuckled.
Cute.
She said.
But I don't have time for this.
In the very next moment, Terra began to spin her baton again. It spun until it became a swirling sphere of energy, and then Terra did something unexpected. She threw the spinning baton right at Sophia. Sophia quickly dodged it.
You missed, bitch. Oh, did I?
Terra replied. She aimed her glowing seashell at Sophia and fired. Sophia tried to dodge this as well, but she failed, and the sudden gust of wind blew her backwards. As she flew back, Sophia was propelled into the path of Terra's baton, which was now circling back like a boomerang. Sophia collided with the baton, and electricity surged through her body. The baton continued to spin until it made it back into Terra's hands, but Sophia dropped to the ground, her body twitching. "No!" Blair screamed and rushed over to her friend.
You should worry about yourself.
Terra said and pointed the baton at Blair, who was still kneeling next to Sophia's motionless body. "Oh no," I said. "We have to do something." Suddenly, Truck-chan screamed and blared her horn at the same time. The abrupt noise was loud and grating, and it got Terra's attention. Instead of shooting Blair, she turned around, looking for the source of the sound.
What was that?
Terra asked.
Shift, what happened?
Shift answered that he had no idea. Say it, Noble.
I have no idea.
Perfect. And Blair took advantage of the confusion. She threw Sophia over her shoulder and dove for cover. By the time Terra turned back around, the cat women were gone. But it was far from over. We were all still stuck on this narrow flying platform, and there was nowhere to run. Terra would eventually find us, unless Brigo turned the tide of the battle. I crawled over to the other side of Truck-chan. I was hoping that Brigo and Chadlass were winning the fight against the Moth Kink, but that was not the case. After grabbing his sword, Brigo attempted to reach Shift while Ganojo was busy fighting Chadlass. But before he could make his move, Shift saw him and called out to his kink. Ganojo released some strange gaseous substance from her wings, and the substance landed right on top of Brigo. I could smell it even from where I was standing. It had a strong, musty smell, unlike anything I had ever smelled before. Instead of making his way to Shift, Brigo suddenly stopped and turned to look at Ganojo.
Wow, she's so attractive.
Brigo said, lowering his sword.
So damn sexy.
What? I cried. Brigo, we need your help. The cat girls are in trouble. But Brigo didn't hear me. He just stood there admiring Ganojo as she flew in circles above Chadlass. She was still pressing her advantage and using the ability to fly to keep Chadlass pinned down.
Hey, insect lady.
Brigo called out.
Let's fuck.
Brigo.
Make love to me.
That's not the line.
Yeah, I know. It's make love to me. Brigo, please. You're a romantic. Come on. What the hell is he doing?
I don't know.
Truck-chan screamed.
But watch out, Kirito-kun. The evil bitch is here.
What? I turned around, and in that very moment, she appeared.
Found you.
Terra said. While I was focused on Brigo, Terra had made her way around Truck-chan, and she was now standing right in front of me. It's you, Terra?
Oh, sorry. I said no talking, remember? You've been distracting me.
No, wait! I cried as she pointed the electric baton right at me. I'm just a delivery man. I tried to back away, but I didn't get very far. The edge of the platform was only steps away, and if I got any closer to the railing, she might blast me right off of the dragon train.
Ironic.
Terra said with a smirk.
Because I've got a special delivery just for you.
I closed my eyes and braced for the shock. And that is chapter
Yay.
10. Now we go chapter 11, checkmate. But first of all, I respect Nux a lot now, man. That was a lot of reading on my part, guys.
Yeah.
This renewed my appreciation for Nux.
Bro, I had 2 lines and I couldn't even do that right.
Let me just get a glass of water. I did not realize I would have to be reading this much, but there you go.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
In the meantime, Briggs, review the chapter for the people.
Review the chapter. Not enough Briggle voice acting, I think. 3 out of 10. No, I'm kidding. It's a good setup for this next chapter that I like a lot. What did you guys think?
I liked it.
Thank you.
Great. I have to fight
I
myself.
like 10 out of 10. Would beep again.
Would beep again.
Yeah. My favorite line was when you were like, "Hey, make love to me."
Let's fuck. Clearly, Animac underestimates how brash Lord D. Brigo is.
I think you would have said "let's fuck."
Yeah.
It sounds natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, very chat-like.
But then again, actually I lied. Animac did he wrote Brigo to be a gentleman as well.
He did have a gentleman mustache, I guess. in a way.
Yes. I like Terra and Shift. Although I don't know what happened to Animac's Blair voice. He had such a cute cat girl voice before.
Oh, that
Yes,
was supposed
she's
to be
right
a
now.
girl? Oh. Oh.
Well, she's not gonna be seductive during a big fight, you know.
I think
No, like,
Noble should do.
We're gonna
I think
die.
Noble should do Blair because I feel like he could do a cat girl voice.
I don't know about that.
I believe in your
Fine,
Nekopara
Noble
abilities.
can do-
Yeah.
Noble can do
Super
Blair.
cuter.
Thank you, Ludicrous Fund, for the gifted subs. Mousy, are you with us?
I'm with you.
I have a second voice for you in this chapter.
For me?
Yeah, it's at the very end that it's a character called Malta Gatari.
Malta Gatari?
Isn't that the next chapter?
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. You're right, Lucy. Never mind, Mousy. That's a chapter after this one, so you will be doing double duty in that following reading, not this one.
Oh, I love being double teamed. My favorite.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because actually the chapter after this one is already up on Patreon, so that's the one I was thinking, but this is actually the chapter before that. So good call, Lucy.
Go.
All right. Are we ready for chapter 11 called Checkmate?
Let's do it.
Perfect. So Noble is doing now Blair and Shift. He's a diverse voice actor.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I heard the sharp whir of electricity as Terra prepared to zap me, but then I heard something else. The sound of an engine starting up and wheels screeching on the pavement. I opened my eyes in time to see Truck-chan backing up right into Terra. The back of Truck-chan slammed into the criminal, and she dropped to the ground and rolled away. Terra clutched her shoulder and cried out in pain as her baton rolled away from her. Where's the pain?
Oh. Ah! Sorry. I did not have to scream.
Perfect. Truck-chan, I exclaimed. Thank you. I ran over to the front of the truck, opened the door, and then I climbed up to the roof, using the driver's seat as a foothold. From up on the roof, I could see that Davy had already forced the hostage to the very back of the platform, where the lifeboats were located. If they managed to get the hostage on a lifeboat, they would get away. Maybe that shouldn't have bothered me. Maybe a kidnapping taking place aboard a flying train inside a strange fantasy world was none of my business. But I couldn't let them get away with it. Not after what they did to Blair, Sophia, and all these innocent people. Truck-chan, I said, as she slammed the door shut and locked it. Keep backing up until we reach the hostage.
Okay.
Truck-chan said and drove in reverse until we reached the end of the platform. I spread myself out flat on the roof so that Davy couldn't see me. He had been facing the other way as Truck-chan approached him, and when he turned around and saw the large delivery truck speeding in his direction, he panicked and dove out of the way. As he fell to the ground, Davy dropped his knife, and the hostage used the opportunity to run away. Truck-chan stopped just short of hitting one of the lifeboats. Davy was furious. He stood up and tried to retrieve his knife, which was still on the ground several steps away. This was my chance. Davy was unarmed, the hostage was safe, and I had the element of surprise on my side. I decided to jump down from the roof and knock him out with a swift punch to the face before he ever saw me coming. It would be so easy. He was right below me. He had no idea that I was up here, and the force of my flying punch would surely knock him out in one shot. I stood up on the roof, squeezed my hand into a fist, wound my arm up for the punch, and leapt at Davy. I could see it all so clearly in my mind. My fist would connect with his face, and he would topple over like a domino. As he collapsed, I would stand triumphant over his motionless body, and all of the other passengers would hail me as a hero. This was the day of my Chad formation. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. As I fell towards Davy, I realized that I'd overshot him. Instead of punching him square in the face, I punched nothing but air as I dropped from the roof right into one of the lifeboats. Two important things happened during my miscalculated jump from Chuck-chan's roof. First, when I hit the ground, I landed on top of the deflated balloon that had been placed in the middle of the lifeboat. I guessed that each lifeboat had one of these balloons, and I was glad that they did, because it cushioned my fall. I banged up the right side of my body as I landed, but I escaped serious injury. Second, on the way down, my left leg managed to connect with the side of Davy's face. This was completely unintentional on my part. My plan was to punch him, but somehow it worked out. Davy was stunned by my kick and he stumbled sideways. As I stood up from the lifeboat, Davy realized what had happened. Who's Davy, guys?
I guess I could do it. I'm trying to think of a Davy voice here. What's up, slappers? All right.
Yeah.
I can't do it very well.
He's Italian, man. You have to.
I can do an Italian accent if I'm not speaking English with English words. Okay. You hit me.
He said, climbing into the lifeboat after me.
Now it's time to slap.
I tried to stand up, but the deflated balloon tangled itself around my feet and I couldn't get free in time. As Davy walked up to me, I was barely able to get on my knees. The tall criminal stood over me and raised his right hand above his head, his palm flat and his fingers stretched out in all directions. He looked like he was about to give me the biggest slap of my life. I closed my eyes.
Checkmate,
he said, but before he could deliver the slap, I decided to try one more act of desperation. I wasn't about to sit here while some criminal slaps me to death, not after everything that I've been through in this goddamn fantasy world. So I clenched my fist shut and launched my arm forward, hoping to hit him in the nuts. I didn't feel my fist connect with anything, and I assumed that I had missed, but the slap didn't come. Instead, I heard a loud thud. I opened my eyes and saw Davy sprawled out on the ground before me. There was no one else around, so my punch must have gotten him. Still, the fact that I hadn't felt anything was strange, but there was no time to think about it. Someone called out to me. This is, Noble. Cat Noble.
Oh, okay. Kirito, are you all right?
I looked to my left and saw that it was Blair. Sophia was still down on the ground, but Blair was on her feet and moving. Yeah, I'm fine. Blair nodded and turned around. I glanced further up the platform and saw that Tara had managed to get back up. She retrieved her baton and started spinning it again, blue lightning surging all around her, but it was clear from her movements that Tara was injured. The hit from Chuck-chan took a toll on her, and Blair was about to take full advantage. Blair aimed her double-sided spear and threw it right at Tara. But instead of waiting to see where the spear would land, Blair took off running in Tara's direction. Tara successfully blocked the spear with her baton, but just as she did that, Blair executed an incredible acrobatic maneuver. First, Blair launched herself forward with a front handspring, and then she transitioned into a forward somersault. As Tara turned her attention back to Blair, Blair was already flying towards her. Tara tried to block the attack with her baton, but it was too late. Blair flipped over the spinning baton, and then she dove the heel of her boot right into Tara's face. Tara stumbled backwards and then collapsed, blood gushing from her nose.
Game over, bitch.
Blair said before picking up the electric baton and throwing it overboard. Both Davy and Tara were now down for the count, and the hostage was sheltering behind one of the lifeboats. But it wasn't over yet. I looked to my right and saw that the battle between Chadlass and Ganojo was still in full swing. And worse yet, Chadlass was taking heavy hits. At some point, Ganojo had sprayed some sort of silky substance all over Chadlass, and this was restricting her movements. Chadlass was trying to defend herself as best she could, but she was taking damage left and right. Silver blood ran down her face in steady streams. I finally managed to untangle myself from the balloon, and I ran up to Chuck-chan. "Let's go," I said. "Get me as close to the fight as you can. I think I know how we can help Chadlass."
Okay, Birito-kun.
Chuck-chan said.
But could you please release the handbrake? Imagine walking with a metal rod stuck up your butt.
What?
Well, that's what it feels like.
Okay, I said. I climbed into the driver's seat and released the handbrake. Chuck-chan drove up cautiously until we were as close to the action as possible. And that's when I saw it. Something was wrong with Brigo. He had removed the lower half of his armor, and he was calling on Ganojo to come step on him instead of Chadlass.
Oh, step on me!
What is he thinking?
I don't know!
Truck-chan replied.
But that's not the way Sir Brigo acts. He's not himself.
I nodded. You're right. Ganojo is a moth girl, and her powers are likely based on moth biology. That musty gas she sprayed on him earlier, it must be affecting Brigo.
We have to do something!
Truck-chan exclaimed. Right. Ganojo released some sort of pheromone that made Brigo uncontrollably attracted to her. She is an incredible kink, but her moth biology might also be her weakness.
What do you mean, Birito-kun?
Truck-chan asked as Ganojo landed yet another kick on Chadlass, and Brigo's kink nearly lost her balance and fell over as a result of the blow. Chadlass was in trouble. After this latest kick, Ganojo leapt into the air again and hovered over Chadlass, preparing for the next strike. Since Ganojo was currently facing our way, I decided to act. Truck-chan, turn on your high beams, max brightness, right now!
Okay!
Truck-chan said. As soon as the high beams flipped on, Ganojo turned her eyes towards the light. She stared at it for several seconds, almost mesmerized, before forcefully turning away. That's it, I proclaimed, the light! Truck-chan's high beams weren't especially bright in broad daylight, and yet Ganojo was still drawn to them. If we could find a brighter light, we could give Chadlass a fighting chance. And that's when I remembered. In her previous battle, Chadlass was able to create bright electric sparks using her brass knuckles. I rolled down the driver's side window and poked my head out. Chadlass! I shouted, but she didn't hear me. I tried again, even louder. Chadlass! This time she heard me, and she turned to look at me. Light! Bright light will distract her. Chadlass nodded and then quickly turned away. She must have been saving the friction that she had built up during the battle for one final attack, because she suddenly smashed her fists together. As the brass knuckles collided, bright sparks exploded all around her, and we were all blinded for a moment. The next thing I knew, something was moving up on Truck-chan's roof, and when I opened my eyes, I saw Chadlass leaping into the air. She took advantage of Ganojo's infatuation with the sparks to run over to Truck-chan and hop on top of the roof. After a running start, Chadlass used the roof as a springboard to launch herself into the air. I watched through the windshield as Chadlass skyrocketed up to the spot where Ganojo had been flying in place. The moth kink was still mesmerized by the lingering sparks as Chadlass wound up her arm and smashed Ganojo square in the face with her fist. More sparks shot out from the brass knuckles as Chadlass made contact, and suddenly Ganojo was blown across the platform. The force of the punch shook Truck-chan's windows, and the sound was deafening. Ganojo slammed onto the roof of one of the train cars, rolled over multiple times, and then dropped down to the floor of the platform. Ganojo would be in no shape to fight after a hit like that. The battle was over.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay.
No, my moth goddess is so sad.
Wait for next chapter, bro.
Yeah, I haven't read the next chapter yet. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, so the battle was over. Or was it? You have to find out in the next chapter, which is now available for our patrons at patreon.com/rantcafe, and will be revealed at a later date on one of the read-throughs. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Noble, I'm sorry, I thought that Shift had more lines, but that's in the next chapter.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate your Blair, though.
All right, yeah, I tried. I tried to be female for you.
It was great. It was beautiful.
That sounded wrong and yet so right.
Hey, 2020 is an amazing year, man. It's an amazing year. Anything's possible.
Anything goes in 2020.
Yeah.
Thank you also to Lucy.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Our Crazy Tara.
Sorry about that scream. I didn't know. I forgot.
No, it's okay. And also, of course, our lovely Truck-chan, Iron Mouse.
Thank you so much for having me.
And our pleasure. And Brigo, like, you didn't have many lines, you pervert.
You pervert.
You're the one who wrote that.
What? Shut up.
You should have said fucked.
Bruh, who doesn't like a good moth girl this time of year?
Wanting Moth Girl to step on you.
Oof.
I think Brigo should have defeated Moth Girl just over his lust. Come down to me. Jumps up, grabs her by the wings.
Well, he's still a gentleman, okay?
Is he?
Brigo's a gentleman.
Is he though?
He is.
Is he really?
In my mind. I haven't seen him drunk, but in my mind, he is.
I think
Me,
you've seen Brig. I
gentlemen,
think you've
so
seen me
speak
drunk a
for
good amount,
yourself.
a couple times. No,
Yeah, but like you were.
I'm a gentleman at the end of the day, of course. Thank you, Animac.
But yeah, Moth Girl, very popular. Very popular with the
Yeah, we need a
gentleman.
Moth Girl drawing ASAP.
Yeah, so definitely it's been a joy writing these chapters and having these read-throughs with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people really look forward to the read-throughs and to the chapters. So we're gonna keep posting them on Web Novel. Some people asked us if we're gonna try to like do a contract with Web Novel, and we said this in previous streams, but we don't think so because their contracts demand that you give up a bunch of rights that we're not willing to give up like away. So in that case, the best way to support us is through Rant Cafe and the Patreon on Rant Cafe. And thank you to Hell's Swimey for, well, I have no idea if that's how it's pronounced, but for 1,000 magical crystals. Appreciate you.
And thank you to Animac for writing these awesome 11 chapters.
Oh,
Yay.
it's been a lot of fun, guys. And I do prefer when Nux reads so I can just enjoy and not have to crush my voice. But
Honestly, I'm kind of happy I had very few lines today. I had to re-record like all of Brigo in the bathroom, and my throat is...
Oh my god!
Yeah, I re-recorded all of it. I recorded a bunch of scenes for the music video. I spent like 4 hours today on it. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm so excited!
It's so bad. You don't even be excited. Like, it's so bad that it's like... I hope the cringe is enjoyable, you know?
It's gonna be motherfucking great! Feed me!
yeah, this actually worked out because Briggs before this was telling me, man, I my voice is done. I can't do that much Brigo. It takes so much out of me. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I think we can wrap up the episode unless anyone else has anything important to say.
Step on me!
Yeah.
Step on me, daddy.
Yay!
Oh my god, this is wrong. I don't know what did I step into?
Also, am I okay? Like, Truck-chan's windows got like they got hurt. I got hurt. I got hurt a little.
No, you were just annoyed because like so it like shook you a little bit, but you were just annoyed. You were like, oh, it's kind of like
I thought, what if I have a concussion?
no, it was almost like a strong wind just annoying you.
I have
too
a
OP.
question. So, if you really think about it, so the headlights will be my eyes, right?
I believe so. Yes.
So if I break a headlight, that means my eye got ripped out?
You can
It
replace
does,
your
but
eyeballs.
then you can replace it. Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
Or would it be nipples?
a lot of people ask this stuff to me. It's like, what is Truck-chan's butt? What happens if you're inside
where's my
Truck-chan when
butt?
she transforms? And all this stuff. It's like, you think I thought this through, guys?
I have a truck, baby.
We were like, guys, let's do a thing where a guy gets isekai by with his truck because he's hit by a bigger truck, and then the truck becomes a hot woman. That's all we thought about.
What would the tailpipe be?
The tailpipe, I think, is the butthole or the pee. I mean, well,
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say butthole.
Well, then what's the
Yeah.
vagina?
Oh my gosh.
That's the underside of the truck, clearly.
it's like the engine, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't-
Oh my
The
god.
oil.
To be fair, we do have parental guidance is advised for on web novels, so it's not our fault that this happened.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
We
I
warned
just
them.
wonder about this stuff, you know? The
Yeah, this
anatomy
reminds me
it.
of when people ask Oda about like the boob size of the characters, and he's just like, "What? I don't care about the boob size. They're huge. I don't care."
Yeah.
Well,
got-
Oda
they got-
just says he likes them big, and that's why he makes them big.
They're wonderful.
No, yeah. Oda doesn't mess around. He just does what he loves, and that's what we do too. We just have fun. And...
Does anybody ever talk about like the transponder snails? Like, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, they're kind
Yeah,
of sad.
It's like what a weird way of communication. Clearly,
They're like an enslaved race.
the flying farting penguins are superior mode of communication.
Oh yes. Yes.
Ah.
No, I hate those things. They fucking suck. I forgot Brigo doesn't like them. Discord.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Definitely not an allusion to Discord, guys. For legal purposes, we have to say that. But yeah, we really appreciate all you guys donating and supporting us. It means a lot.
Yeah, they're
Everybody.
actually insane. Like these, we stream for like an hour, and these guys just drop bits and subs the entire time.
Yeah, it really supports the podcast and, you know, the high quality content that
But of
you
course.
demand, such as answering questions about which orifice of the truck is the equivalent of a butt.
That's an important question.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
You know, when you get,
But
we got to release a fact book, guys. The
Guys,
truck
I mean, is that,
is
if I get a flat tire, does that mean I broke my leg?
oh,
maybe
no.
sprained your
check
ankle.
nail.
Sprained
Oh,
ankle.
God. So many questions.
What's it called?
That's
I would say that the headlights are the eye, or no, headlights are the boobs, and then like the
Oh my
windshield
God, then
is
my
the
nipple
eyes.
got ripped off.
Your nipple got ripped
God.
off. Oh no.
Oh.
Maybe
yikes.
nipple pierced.
If you
I don't
bust
know.
the head off, if you bust the headlight and it's the nip, that means the nip has been ripped off.
Ooh.
It's a
Maybe
butt.
it's just a scab.
You know, you guys are
It's
asking the real
not.
questions, but I don't want to spoil anything. I like the fan theories that are arising,
Oh
so
my
I'll leave it at that. We're gonna be ending this episode now, the official part of it at least. Sometimes we go a bit longer on Twitch if you want to follow us there. But thank you guys so much for listening every week, for tuning in and supporting us. Nux, feel better soon, my friend. We need your voice. There was not nearly enough interruptions of me in this episode. My ears were not hurt in any way, so you know, I never thought I'd say this, but we missed you, man. We missed you. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang.